Right, welcome back. It's been just over a month since I finished the Millennium Falcon, and in that month I've done some guarding statues, so I've kept myself busy. I've done, hold on, I've done 3 guarding statues from new, and I've redone 1, 2, 3, and I've redone 3 of my old statues. They just needed them sanding down and repaint because they've been out there for a couple of years. So with that being said, here's my next project. Right, so here's the next project. It's the Ford Escort RS1800 Mk.II, as seen in the 1979 World Rally Championship, liveried for 1979 Monte Carlo. The drivers on these are Hannu Mikkola and Arne Hertz. The box art's pretty nice, not too bad. Around the side just gives you a little bit of a review in Italian and English. Box art's pretty standard. You can also, but they've also advertised the Audi Quattro Rally Car and the Lancia Stratos in the Italeri livery instead of the Martini livery. So that's the box out the way. You get 4 sprues plus the body shell. So there's your body shell. The underneath chassis is mounted on inside. Hopefully that should come out pretty easy. So you get light sprues for dashboard, roll cage, which I'm quite surprised is moulded in black. You get the front panel for the headlights, a few bits for the interior, steering wheel, gear lever, clear part. It's all one piece, so you got the front windscreen, side windows and rear screen. 2 racing seats. You've got window wipers, not sure what that is. You've got your toe linkage, door panels, so that's that. In the second bag, you've got a rear spoiler, bonnet, sump guard plate, rims, bit of engines, brakes, a bit more of the roll cage, headlamps, exhaust. That's quite flimsy, to be honest. I expected more of that. In the other rally cars, the exhaust I'd have a lot thicker than that. The rubber tyres, slicks, Goodyears. There's a lot of flash on these, to be honest. Just turn the flash on, actually. There's a lot of flash that I've got to clean up off. So you've got 2 rears, 2 fronts. Decal sheet, quite small, to be honest, actually, for scale. Here's my milliput box. About the same size as my milliput box lengthways, and then what, twice the size of my milliput widthways. So that's that. Not much in decals, to be honest. You get your plates for Rally Monte Carlo numbers. You get your competitor names there, but not much in sponsors, to be honest. Instruction sheet looks fairly straightforward. Starting as always with the engine. And then you've got the interior with the cockpit and that. Onto the chassis. More interior. And you've got the underneath of the chassis. You've got your rims and tyres. Body shell. More body shell with windows. A few bits and bobs there. Bit more construction before you mount the body shell on. And your decal placement guide. Now, I'm not going to be using these decals. I'm going to be using a set that I picked up from the Czech Republic on a proper site. I'm building it to the 1976 Cossack sponsored RAC rally from 1976 with Roger Clark and Stuart Pegg. You can also do this to the International Scottish Rally with Roger Clark and Jim Porter, or the Belfast Ulster Rally with Jim Porter again. Right, so here's my decal sheet. It's twice the size of my kit supplied one, and there's a hell of a lot more in sponsor logos. So you've got the main Cossack stripe that goes down the side of the body shell. You've got Motor Rally Championship Cossack, the shell logos, all these other Cossack based decals. You get the number plates as well. You also get the Scottish and the Ulster Rally, as well as the RAC, Lombard RAC Rally decals, with the bold lettering for the Roger Clark and Stuart Pegg. For the Roger Clark and Jim Porter, it's in like a calligraphy writing. So before I even bought this kit, I wanted to make sure I could actually get these decals, because I first discovered this livery in Forza Motorsport. I think it was number 5, and I've been using it ever since, and on Dirt Rally 1 and 2 as well. So there's your placement guide for the International Scottish Rally, the Belfast Ulster Rally, and the RAC Rally, Lombard RAC for the 1976 season. So that's what I'm going to be doing, using those. So with that being said, it's time to get cracking on. Right, I've started work on the Ford Escort sprue trees. I've just basically primed them, and you can see them a hell of a lot better before when I didn't take them out the bag. I probably should have done, to be honest, so you could have a look. So everything's all primed. You got the interior chassis body, bucket seats and all that. You got the panels. I mean, them panels have come out really nice with the primer. You got the front light panel on the front of the car. Oh, let's turn the flash on. There you go, you can see it a bit better. I don't know if that's got Ford on it now. That's probably going to be a decal then. Like I see, you got all the bits and bobs all nice and primed. Then you got the second sprue, the 2 parts of the engine block, various the wheels, 2 fire extinguishers, bit of exhaust, maybe engine exhaust that come out the side of the engine. Got the suspensions there, brakes, various bits and bobs. One thing I don't like is the exhaust pipe. On the other rally cars that I've done most recently, that rally pipe, but the exhaust pipe is a hell of a lot thicker. Because if you look at the channel down the middle there, where the exhaust pipe would come through and out of there, that's really quite big, and the exhaust is really quite small. I'm quite disappointed in that. So with that being said, it's time to start painting and construction now. Right, work has started on the Ford Escort now. So you've got the interior tub, you've got the door side panels, the engine bits, the dashboard, the 2 fire extinguishers. I've got stuff painted on the sprue. So here's what I've done so far. Now going on to the plans, you've got 4 pieces of the engine. You've got the 2 side parts, bottom and top. You've also got whatever that is. My car knowledge, engine knowledge ain't that good. Maybe it's a timing belt mechanism, I don't know. You've got a bit of an exhaust and whatever the hell that is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces for the engine. So there's the 2 halves of the engine, top and bottom. Painted this in aluminium. Them little dots there are anthracite. Looking at some photos that the car was restored a couple of years ago. I've also painted that piece in the aluminium. That piece in the middle is like a matte black. So that's what I've done. That's what it looks like in the photos. You've got the little exhaust things, that's painted in anthracite, so that's that. And then the timing belt, if that's what it's called, is on my sprue, which is that. So I've done anthracite for the belts, for the cogs I've done silver, and those two cogs are blue, looking at the restoration photos, so that's that. I've done both seats, painted those in anthracite, put the seat belts on, the kit supplied ones. I haven't matted those down yet. I've just microsoled the decals and sealed them in the gloss. I've still got to mat those. The two door panels, again looking at restoration photos. You've got matte black for the outer part, anthracite for the door panel, and for the door handles you got black. I've painted those both sides because I don't know how visible they're going to be, so that's what that looks like. I've cut off the sprue, the two fire extinguishers, just painted those in the white primer, then painted those with just red and some silver for the bits around the edges. Dashboard, matte black with some silver. You've got decal there for the speedometers and the gauges and the dials, and then you've got a decal there. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's like code driver controls, I don't know. And then, like I said, just for the silver for the extra bits. I've painted some bits on the sprue. I've got the suspension arms. Whoops. It calls for you to paint those in black, but I decided to paint them in silver and then red coils to match the rest of the car. Bit of roll cage. Now the roll cage is actually black, looking on the restoration photo, so you got a bit of roll cage there. You got the pedals matte black with some gunmetal. A couple of bits more of the roll cage. A couple more bits of the roll cage there and there in black. The radiator's in black. Steering wheel on the outer part is anthracite and black in the middle. You've got the steering wheel controls, anthracite with black for the handles. Gear change and handbrake just in like a medium grey. Bit of the suspension that goes underneath, and that's pretty much it. So with that being said, oh hold on, the interior chassis. The engine area is white. That's matte black. Silver at the back. Underneath you got black, gunmetal and silver, and that's pretty much it. So all that now is steps 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So that's pretty much all that done. So all I've got to do now is just glue all this together. Right, so I've done the bit of work on the front section with the engine block and the radiator and that whatever that was at the front with the fan belts. I've also glued that on the side as well, and the exhaust's in there. Let's put the flash on. There we go. So you can see the exhaust coming through from the engine there, that block engine there, fan belt, radiator. The radiator is only held in just by, there's like a little square indentation on the radiator itself, and it's just held in by them two little pins, and then the back of the square section will hit the pins at the back as well, but it's quite strong actually, not too bad. I've glued the fire extinguisher tanks in now, and the pedals for the clutch, brake and accelerator. There was no pin on the back or anything, no hole, so I just glued it to the back wall. So the engine goes in as so. You put the engine you put the engine in first at an angle, and then it glues onto those two pins, and then with the two pins, the brace that goes across screws into those grooves, and that's the only thing that's holding it in. Then you put the suspension rods in, the coils. You glue them onto the the underneath suspension bracket, as it were. So that's all that. You just jab them through the holes and just glue them in, and then you glue them into the holes that are on the underneath in the fender wells. And then the bottom of the engine will touch that, and then you just put a drop of glue in there, and then you put the radiator in. That's that front section done. Now I'm doing pages 5 and 6, because I don't want to do the interior and then try and having to turn it over, and it's just going to be leaning on the top of the roll cage. So I'm going to do the underneath first. It's pretty much in every other rally car that I've done, it does the underneath first, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm now doing steps 5 and 6. So you've got all those parts there. You've got the exhaust pipe, a bit more of front suspension, the rear suspension and drive shaft mount. And then you've got the sump guard plate, the drive shaft and whatever those are. I don't know if there's some kind of stabilisers or something. And then you've got the brake discs. They've got to be fixed in front and rear. So I'm doing all that work now. So that's all that. So what I've done is I've just painted those on the sprues. So you've got the discs and the brakes. Just painted them on the grey primer. You've got gunmetal silver for the middle, anthracite for the brake discs themselves, and I just painted the red on top of the grey, and it brought it out like a darkish red burgundy colour, and I actually like that. And some of the grey is showing through as well, so they can look like they're worn. You've got the exhaust pipe itself, that's been painted in aluminium. The sump guard, that again, that's aluminium. I need to put another coat on that. You've got the one suspension rod, I think that goes on the front. You've got the cap for the drive shaft mount for that. So those are in matte black. You've got the drive shaft itself. It tells you to paint this in rust, but I've just painted it in aluminium. So that's that one. And then you've got the rear suspension pieces. So those are in the gunmetal. And then these two stabiliser rods, I'm assuming. Them are just in the aluminium. I've got to paint, top them up. But all that I'm on the sprue is now ready to be glued into the back of here. And the exhaust pipe will go there. And then you've got the drive shaft that will connect there to the back of the drive shaft assembly, engine part, whatever. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment.